Hello, everybody in YouTube land. Alexander Smith coming at ya. What is up tonight? Oh, scary. Scary, isn't it? Eek. I need a good cut. I need a good cut. So how's everybody been? How's everybody doing? I hope you are all well and doing great. And hopefully you will come in. Hi, David. Yes, I am still in a mess. Yes. As in doing well. Trying to get there. Trying to go on. Trying to concentrate on the channel, plus also trying to do eBay as well. Haven't put in on last week because trying to catch up to where I should be at. And then I'm like sitting through watching videos or whatever else, and somebody got a hold of me, and I want to explain the email. I really would like to explain the email as an email in question, but I don't like putting names to emails, and it wasn't a negative email. I just want to explain that of the way the email unfolded, but I would rather wait until quite a few people come in and for me to explain it, not over and over and over and over and over and over again, and to be able to explain it when there's quite some people in the chat and basically discuss it, because this channel isn't just about me. It's about the people who actually support the channel. And the reason why I come up with the game, or the game in particular with the spin the wheel or whatever you want to call it, it was a bit of fun for the channel. Plus also it's the stuff that I'm not going to use or I don't have any need for it. And this is why I don't like having something and not sharing it with others. If I've got more of that item, I would rather share it with other people. It's not a case of going into Durbin's auction or whatever else, buying a whole thing up and keeping it for myself. Some of it's for my collection, some it's not. And the reason why I started leaving it with the Durbins, as in lot numbers or whatever else, is so people know where it came from. I'm not hiding nothing. I don't hide anything. I never have hid anything. I don't need to hide anything. I don't need to feel ashamed of anything either, because I very rarely do anything wrong. And if I do something wrong, I'll apologise. I don't get everything perfect. I'm not a perfect person and never will be a perfect person. I make mistakes, but if I've done a mistake, I'll say, I've done a mistake, I'm sorry for that mistake, whatever else. People will get their stuff, and that's what I want to talk about, as in, this was one of these emails which I got from a person who is owed items from the wheel, and I want to explain the email itself. That's exactly what I want to do, because when the person said what you said, I got slightly emotional and slightly upset because I'm like, well, hold on a minute. Why are you saying that? Why are you saying this? And I thought, okay, maybe the person can't afford to cover the shipping, but that wasn't the whole idea. The reason why I went back to eBay is because my mother was going daft about the state of the second room. And she says, well, if you don't do something about it, I will. Now, when my mum says something like that, usually she either tidies it up by putting it in other places where I cannot find it because she's put it away, and obviously I can't find nothing when she does that because I have it organised in a system where I know everything is. But I was more worried about her throwing things that were worth putting on eBay to resell. I do not resell coins. I never have put coins on eBay. Yes, I have tried it, as in I put a couple of coins on for test purposes because I was thinking of a different way we could do the wheel. Because some people have got coins and they said, I don't need day ones in my collection. So I was going to do a different way where I was going to do the sell, donate, sell, or keep idea. That idea didn't seem to be any good to anybody, or nobody said what they would like to do when I come up with that idea or when I put that idea to you guys. So I decided to go back to the old way we were doing the wheel because it takes longer if you're going to do things like that. Plus, also, if I was going to put them on eBay as in to sell them coins for that specific person who said to sell them, it's on a 10-day auction and it may sell, it may not sell. I wasn't sure. So that's why I decided, because yous have got an input. Yous guys have an input. I do not put my input in and say, right, that's it. I come up with an idea. I will put it to yous guys and say, what would yous like to do? And then when you turn around and say to me in a comment or whatever else and you vote as in whatever way you want to do it, I then do that. And that was why, because people were like, I like that idea, I like where spin the wheel. And then 710, when 710 seen the wheel, he kept saying, spin the wheel, spin the wheel. So I thought, well, you're egging it on, and I will take that challenge and spin it if that appeals to you and it keeps you amused. Because that was the whole idea, was to keep people amused. It wasn't to sit here and blare on or whatever else. I bless them. Because the reason why I have up here and it says on a panel and it says Alexander Smith coins is because yes, I'm interested in coins, but very rarely do I have British coins unless I get British coins from somebody who either sends them to me or I pick them out. I pick them out in my change. I pick them out loosely in my change and say, well, that's worth keep. This is worth keeping, because when I start taking out coins, it's not for my collection of the UK coins. It's to share. It's to share with you guys. That's the whole. Because some of them are worth more and some of them are worth less, depending on their years, and the designs on the reverse of the 50 pence coin, because that is what you call cupro nickel. It is not silver. People think because they look silver that that's exactly what they are. They didn't put any copper. They didn't put any silver in the coins. It's cupro nickel. It's a mixture. It's a mixture of metals. But they do have, yes, the face value is only 50 pence, but the numismatic value of them coins, depending on their condition and depending on the year of the coin, are worth less or more than face value. And yes, there is some that on eBay and and some people put them on and they overprice the coins, saying this one's rare and that one's rare. This has got errors. That one's blah blah blah. I do not. When I put them under a microscope for you lot, it's to basically let you see the coin in particular. To see the coin itself. That's why I put it under the microscope, to let you guys see it. For your advice as well, And you say, oh, hold on a minute, Alec, can we see that other coin back up again? Yes, I will put the coin back up if you tell me what coin it was, so we can have a proper look at the coin. So we can see if it's got any flaws or any errors or any die breaks or die clashes in it. Because I do like looking at coins, but I do phones. I do cell phones. I know more about cell phones. I wouldn't say more than anybody else. I just know about cell phones, and I know exactly what I'm looking at. I know what I'm doing what I'm doing with them. When it comes to coins, I'm still a novice at this. I'm still learning a lot of things. Now can I remember how to do this? But I don't want to just talk about. I want to wait until a lot of people come in to the chat, so that I don't have to keep going over it again about the email in particular, because I'm going to talk about highlights coins. I'm going to talk about the email. I don't really want to say the person's name, because it's not a case of bashing that person, but I feel that that person will come into the chat and they'll be like, well, does it sound as if he's having a go at me? No, I'm not having a go at the person who sent the email. I am just talking about the email in particular and what was said or partly said in the email, because the person asked me how much do I owe you for shipping, Alec? Alexander, how much will it cost me? I said the shipping is this, and he said, how much is that in USA dollars? And then I said, it's 35, it'll cost you $35, because that's the way I've always done it, because I usually put a track number on it. The email come back and said, well, I will need to. This is the part that really got to me. The person said, I need to forfeit my winnings. And I was like, no, hold on a minute here. Okay, you cannot afford the shipping. The reason why the shipping pot fund is there is to help people that haven't got the full extent of the shipping fund, or the what it'll cost in tracking, because tracking a parcel is more expensive from the UK, but I can put it in a bubble pack envelope and I says to the person, no, you will not forfeit. I will find a way or a solution to whatever. And I know, Les, I've got plenty more of the buffaloes, but this is one that's I need to figure out where I'm keeping it in my collection or not. I'm just showing certain coins, Les, as in up on screen to keep you amused, because that was the whole idea, was to, because I went back to eBay, putting not coins but phones back on eBay, because I know what I can sell and what I can't sell on eBay, as in especially cell phones or mobile phones, because you call them cell phones over there, we call them mobile phones. But the reason why I do the game, or we were doing the game, is because I was buying that much and there's certain ones that I don't need in my collection. So I thought, well, instead of them going to waste, because I looked up the idea of spots, and I thought, I'm not 100% sure about this one. And then I thought, is it worth doing raffles? So I looked into the legality of doing raffles or doing spots. And when I seen what the UK had to say about it, I thought, no, I'm not doing. I went, no, I'm not doing that, because there is legal implications of that if you're doing it continuously doing it. I don't know if that says an F. It's supposed to be an S, but it looks more like an F. It looks more like an F rather than an S. To me, that looks like more like an F than an S. But it says in the package, because that's Littleton's packages. Littleton. Because you've got 709.12 on it. 1930S fine. I only have one in my collection. Well, that was the whole idea, Les, was to put them into mint mark. I know the mint marks on the back, but that's what I'm saying. It looks more like it's a squishy one, isn't it? Squishy S. Squishy S, it looks more like an 8. I know, buddy. That's what I'm showing. There, it's there. Looks more like an 8, and what it is an S, as you can see. I know, you're helping me out. I know you're guiding me. San Francisco. There's actually a song about that. But as I'm saying, Littleton's packets, and people go, Littleton, I don't like Littleton. I wouldn't go with their grading, as in maybe their grading's not 100%, or maybe their prices is not 100%. What would you say? Would you say that they're right in their grading? Is that an S fine? Would anybody say that that's up to grade of an S fine? I don't like busting them out of packages. I don't like touching I don't like manhandling coins. That's why I leave them in packages, or the way they come in. Whatever way I get them off a Durban or whatever, or wherever I've got them from, I usually keep them like that. As I think these ones came from Lemonhead quite a few while ago, and I took ones out that I liked, and I went, right, these ones are going into my collection, but these are ones that is sort of the leftovers, are the ones that I was like, right, I've got that one, I don't need that one, I don't need a second one of that. I think the pricing's, put it this way, guys, I think the pricing's wrong, as in that 700 and, oh, it's like 709, 709 and 12 cents. That's what that looks like. Where did they get that price from? 709 and 12 pence. Or is that 709 cents? 709 cents, 0.12. Or is these ones in my collection? I can't remember. I can't remember if these are the ones from my collection or whether they're not. I can't remember. Boxes and boxes, guys. That's what I'm trying to. The whole idea is to take more boxes out of stuff that I don't need and put it on the wheel. But the wheel, as in the wheel, Les, the wheel is free entry. You do not pay nothing to go on the wheel. I put in stuff as in for the wheel, but I've been busy working on eBay, so I haven't had time to do that. I might be wrong, but maybe the F is the engraver's mark. It could be. Now, where would we find the engraver or who actually designed it? I wonder how you find that out. When you said that, Les, and I'm thinking, hold on a minute, I wonder if I can find out the engravers, who the engraver was, of the Bisons or whatever, or the Indians. Because it's the buffalo or the bison in the back here, on the reverse, and the Indian chiefs on the front. I wonder how you find out the engraver. How you look that up. Yay, somebody got it. James Earl Fraser. I knew somebody would get it. Nice one, Les. I don't want somebody doing the work for me. I just like to ding me because you said about that's probably the engraver. Because there's one that says fine. It doesn't say S fine on it. Imagine trying to ding me. Imagine trying to get that kind of money off of somebody. $708. $708 and 12 cents. Because that's what it looks like. It definitely looks like that. It doesn't say an S at the start of it where it shows dollars. It just says 708.12. Because I'm not selling coins. The whole idea of the game is to basically put stuff on that I don't need. I don't need in the collection. for to let somebody else have it. But I'm trying to make sure that nobody gets left out or feels that they're being left out. I know, Boston, there's only a couple in the chat because I haven't been on for quite a bit. And I was like, I want to really talk because there's another thing I want to talk about as well. And it's a bit of drama. It's a bit of drama. It was something that me and you were talking about on Messenger, or I was saying about, and you said, who is that person? I wanted to talk about what one of the supporters had talked about as in the shipping, because the shipping pot fund is so that everybody puts in a bit or chips in a bit. I also chip in a bit and everybody's happy, because that's the whole idea behind it with the shipping pot fund. It's up to what somebody wants to put into it. It's not a case of saying, well, it's going to cost you. No, you're fine, honestly. Honestly. It's just that sometimes it gets a bit late. Because I was going to pop over to that thing that you said about Discord, because I was thinking about it. I was like, well, if a lot of the people that I know is over there, well, why don't I join it? It's just what happens is it gets complicated for me, or because I'm joined so many things and then I can't remember what one I'm joined, and then I get so confused as in what one is which. No, I needed to talk about things as in the English, because I get an email from Daryl, who's a supporter on the channel, and it wasn't negative. Daryl says, I can't afford it, I need to forfeit, and that's what I wanted to talk about, was because I got upset because he said, I need to forfeit the winnings that I've already won. I says, no, you're not. I says, David Carlisle's still to get his package. Paulie's still to get his package. Inkman's still to get his package. Ink's turned around and says to me, put those package in, because those says, well, I can't give you any money, or I don't feel that I've got enough money, or as in that I can afford that to chip it. And Ink says, well, what I do is, if you're sending me a package, you send those to me and then I'll pick up those. But I don't like doing that, asking people to do that for me, because it means then it's on their shoulders. And that's why I usually do it myself. But the whole thing about going back to eBay was to subsidise the shipping. That was the whole idea by going back to eBay, was to subsidise the shipping, so that it was something was coming out of my pocket as well to keep it going. Lester, that's totally up to you if you want to send something, because I'll donate it or whatever. It's up to you whether you want to donate it, or you say to me, I want that donated to the channel. That's to get donated to the channel. I don't mind taking a couple of bits out it for myself and saying, right, that's sentimental. There's a couple of bits out it that I like, as in that Blistern sent me. But I'll make out and say, oh, by the way, that's for Blistern. It's not for me. That's for Blistern. And then say to people, you need to go as in subscribe to Blistern's channel, because it's not just about me. This is not just about me, guys. It's about the whole lot. It's about the whole lot as a team. It's a team effort. And this is what I don't, this is why I don't like it when two YouTube creators have a ding dong between each other, and then they bring everybody else involved into the equation that has nothing to do with it. It's between them two themselves, that they have a grievance against each other and they can't sort it out amongst themselves. But they bring everybody involved into the situation, or everybody then has to side who's right and who's wrong. And why should you be made to do that? As in, if you like the two creators, that's up to you whether you stay friends with them or not, or support the channels, both channels. But it's unfair when somebody sees you on a panel and then blocks you, and then blocks you from their channel, so that you cannot talk to anybody that's in their channel, as in when they're live, and you know the people that's in the chat. Because that was another thing I wanted to talk about. That person seen me on a live stream or a live panel with that person, talking to that person, no bashing other people, no bashing other people, and then that person then blocks me for their channel. So I can't even chat in their panel or in the chat as in their channel. Even though I support them, and I've supported them for a long time. And all the other people that I know that are friends, that are friendly with me and friends with them, are in there. I don't have a grievance against anybody or section anybody out, because that was the whole idea of doing the game in the first place, was to not section anybody out. Because I was like, well, I'm not turning and saying the Americans can't join in the game, because it's a lot of their stuff is over here that I bought from them because I feel comfortable with being with them. But it wasn't just a case of, as in, why should I just be with one side of the coin community? The whole idea, the one I was telling you about, blistering Jeanette Pickham, but that's what I'm saying. I don't like putting it out there because they're listening to everything that's going on, and they're channeling into people, as in, and they're like, oh, by the way, he said this and she said that, and he did me, and that was said, and they start repeating everything that was said. Because she saw me on Hazy Daisies, as in their Hazy Days does Struggle Street. They happened to be on Struggle Street. I hadn't seen them for quite a while. Went on panel with Hazy Days, and she started telling me she's seen it. She's seen it and was listening to everything that was getting said on the panel. And then what happened is she blocked me so that I couldn't say nothing. But I had nothing against her and him, as in, because I support the both of them. But whatever happened between them was nothing to do with me. It was none of my business. And I wasn't going to turn around and say, well, Hazy Daisy said this, that, or the other, and why are you no friends with them? That was her business, nobody else's. But blocking me for the channel so that I couldn't speak to anybody else in the chat, that's ridiculous. That's what I found ridiculous. That was the ridiculous part of it. Because I know Johnny, I know all the rest of them that's in there, like Gary Ross. And Gary's like, Gary's like, look, if I didn't mean to say what I said, or he didn't apologise. Gary didn't apologise. Gary said, I was only joking, me. I was pulling your leg. And I left it at that. I have a grievance against something, or somebody says something, I take it as into heart. Then it comes out that Hangme eventually tells the way it is to another person or whatever. Then I speaks about it, as in saying about it, as in what had went on and who contacted you, blah, blah, blah. And Gary says, look, I was pulling your leg. I says, that's me and you telling me the the whole thing between you and I, that's it dropped. Move forward. And that's exactly what I did. I moved forward with Gary. I'm no person that holds grudges, because the minute you hold hatred in your system, it eats away at you. It eats inside, and it gets worse as time goes on. And that was the whole thing. I get upset at the start. I take it to heart. I mull over it for God knows what long, and then eventually I turn and say, well, by the way, was I in the wrong? Was I in the wrong? Maybe I was in the wrong here. Maybe I didn't look at the other side, the other side of the coin. And then I'll go away and think about it. And then I'll say to the person, look, I don't want this to carry on, as in for months and years or whatever. Let's sort it out. Here, let's talk about it in an email or a message through Messenger. Let's talk about it like adults, or come on the panel and we'll talk about it till we sort it out. So it's like a debate between two people that have a difference of opinion with each other. Because I hate when it goes on, because it rips a community apart. I saw it with Small Engine Nation. Small Engine Nation I really liked. I got on well with everybody in Small Engine Nation. And one night in particular, I was sat in the panel between the full lot of them that was there at that Pacific week. And at the end of the stream, something was said, and there was a disagreement between two people, and they shut that down. They shut it down, and I was like, "Well, what was all that about?" I was like, "But it's nothing to do with me." So I'm like, I'm staying out it, but I'm wanting to find out what's going on, because I'm like, these two people are arguing, and I'm like, they've had a ding dong between each other. What's went on here? But the thing is, ran so far away saying there's no audio. There's no audio. Or is it coming and going? Hmm. I thought it was. Unless you need to do an update, ran so far away. Maybe you need to do an update, buddy. Because you've got to do that way as in devices. You keep updating them. The other people are saying, I'm not disagreeing with Ran so far away. I'm not disagreeing with him. If the other people are saying that they can hear the audio, so maybe it's your device ran so far away that you've not updated it, because you've got to keep them updated all the time. You got to keep your update going with your Google if you're doing it using Google with Android, and also you got to do the device as in the security updates and that, because there is a synthesize part on it as well as an app. It says synthesize or something. It says, so it's something. If it says synthesize, that means then that I would reckon that would be audio control when it says synthesize on an app. Ah, right. Because I'm in public now, that's why. There you go. He's got this. Put a set of headphones on so nobody else can hear it. No, because these are all buffaloes, these ones. I've got them all sorted out, saying buffaloes or whatever. I can't remember if this is my collection or not. And there's ones that's I have got ones, other ones. Western says I run. Run. Does it matter? No, because we're going to go back. We're going to go back to the game, but just not at the moment because I've not enough stuff, or I need to go through stuff to find stuff. But I have got a bag of stuff that was behind me, and then I lost my book and couldn't find the book, and then I eventually found the book, but it's under stuff, and I'm like, do I really need to pull it out tonight? Or do I have to pull it out tonight? Because I wanted to speak about that one, as what I said about the shipping, because I didn't want to put Daryl's name out there, because I didn't want to put Daryl as if put Daryl in a hole, because it wasn't as if he was saying, well, as in ain't bad. Daryl asked how much it was. Then when I says to him what it's going to cost you shipping, as I usually do the track shipping, because he could have had it cheaper. He could have had it where the friend sent it just as normal shipping. But I don't know how long it would take, and then it may go missing. And I'm one of these people that I would rather, as in if you have won stuff, I'd rather you get it. So it means then that I was like, well, if I put it in tracking, but it's going to cost you $25 or £25 from the UK, and Daryl says, how much is that in USA dollars? I says, well, what's it? And I went away and checked it up. I says, it's $34. And Daryl says, I can't afford that. I need to forfeit. And I thought, no, you're not. You're not going to forfeit nothing. You are not forfeiting. If I said it was yours, it's yours. It's up to you what you're going to do with it. Because you could have donated it to somebody else. But I says, why don't you get... What I said to Daryl I said, why don't you get a hold of David, if it's to be beside beer time here? I know, it is the weekend. The only reason I do this Saturday because it didn't clash with the Durbins, because it was clashing with the Durbins, as in even though that I'm still allowed to, you'll be streaming over somebody in the community. But I don't like doing that. So what was happening was they were going between my stream and Durbin's to keep eyes in it, watching the auction, because the auction runs for like, I don't know how long it runs for. I just know that it's fine, bless them. I'm one of these people, I'm like, and I'm holding them by the edge because I don't want to get fingerprints all over them, or the facials. My hand actually shakes when I'm taking a coin out of a capsule, or either a roll or one of them. My hand's actually shaking like that. I can actually see it like that. I try to grab it by the edge of the coin so it doesn't get any marks on it. Sometimes you do. I tend to put them into. Sometimes I get the card flips. Sometimes I don't. Card flips there. There's a whole bunch of them. I keep them in stock. I keep plastics as well, because I used to get the plastics off. I used to buy the plastics. I used to buy the plastic ones because I didn't like the ones. I like the plastic, the 2x2s better. But everybody's like, don't keep them in that. It destroys the coin. Don't keep them in there for years. All I'm interested in is giving a coin to another collector in good condition, or whatever condition I've got it in, so that they get it in the same condition, so that my fingerprints are not all over it, because they don't like fingerprints on the reverse or the obverse of the coin. It's alright holding them by the edge, because you don't see any fingerprints on them. Because you can actually see a fingerprint, you can actually see it on the coin if it's on the obverse or the reverse. You can actually see the grease of your fingers, of your actual fingerprint on it. You know how when you've got all the ribs in your finger, on your skin, you can actually see it in a coin. If you're holding it by the obverse and the reverse, if you've got your fingers on it, it actually imprints it. You can see it. That's why I don't, you see me, some coins I've got and they're like, as and that's the way they've came in. I'm like, I'm not taking it out. It's staying in there. But it goes into my collection. But not everything is for my collection, if you get me. It's like a roll. There's a roll of coins here. It's all different date years. There's a full section. And there's like, that's like 50 nickels there. On good condition. Because that's why I don't, when I start collecting, it's like Nokia's. I started collecting Nokia phones, and I'm like, there's certain ones that I have never seen, I've never handled. That's fine, Liz. It's nice for you to come in. I don't really like as in being negative on the channel. But if I have something to say, I'll say it. Whether people like it or not. Because I have got another idea, but that other idea is not going to impress a lot of people in the coin community, but I'm going to show what I've done. But it's for a charity. Hi Rob. I forgot to actually send Rob his package because I forgot that Rob is actually in the UK. I forgot to actually call him out as in the last time. And it wasn't until I was going through things, I thought, Rob's package is here. I'm like, Rob's in UK, Alec. So why didn't you shout him out? And then I went, oh, fuck. I was like, I need to get Rob's address to send him his package. What I want to do, Rob, is I want to send the packages that is built up so that I can end up pulling more stuff out. Yes, you do have a package. There's one where you've won stuff off the wheel. Because the whole idea is to either, I do not like saying to somebody, well, if I sent you something, can you do a mail call for me? That's up to you whether you do a mail call or not. I cannot force somebody to do something that they don't want to do. And that's why, because it helps me grow the channel further out there. People go, oh, by the way, go and check Alex's channel out. He's got good stuff. He does the wheel. We don't have to pay in. Because the whole idea is not to pay anything for the wheel. I don't want to put a price on the wheel and say, oh, by the way, you need to pay that for entry. It's up to, the whole idea was the shipping pot fund was to subsidise the shipping fund so that everybody got their stuff. So it went all over the world. Because I can't do it with phones. I will do a naked pole dance. I wonder if people would pay to see that. A naked pole dance, a guy doing it, rather than a woman. No, you're trying to, as a creator, it's hard because you're like, well, you're like, you decide what video you're going to put out there, or you're going to put something out, and you go and you think to yourself, well, hold on a minute. It'll cost you probably, recorded delivery in the UK is what, starts about £4 or something like that, £5 or something like that. It's not a lot of money, Rob, at all, as in for recorded delivery. I used Tracked 48 for two phones. It cost me what, £4 odd or something like that for Tracked. and it says aims to be there within 2 to 3 days. Because I says to them, they went, that's not guaranteed. I walked up to the thing with the post office and he says, by the way, and I went like that because he went, well, signed for. He went, well, if it's signed for, it's £2 more, £2 dearer. And he went, and I went, well, I usually use second class recorded. They went, second class recorded for them too. The weight is £5 odd. I went, I can't afford that. I went, on my eBay it says £4.60. I'll send you my address as and it'll be on the back of it because I've actually got labels. I've actually got a label printer and now I've started putting on, and even when I put when I do the documentation, I actually do a documentation package or a documentation where it's like a plastic, it's like a plastic document enclosed. And I usually what I do is I put the return label in the back, in the other back of it, my address on it. Some people do. Some people use Every, but I've had problems with Every. I had a package that went down the road to a guy, right? So this guy bought stuff off me on eBay, or he bought it off eBay. He paid me on eBay, and eBay now holds your money until the customer gets it, right? But I sent it, instead of sending it by Royal Mail, I decided this time I send it by Every. So there's 2 phones in the box. There's 2 phones, and I'm talking about 2 nice ones, right? 2 Motorola V220s, because I had the box for the one of them. But I thought, well, I'll put it as a pair because I'm not sure about how good I buy stuff off of eBay. It's untested or it's sold as spares or repair, right? So I paired up the phone. And I thought, well, one powers up. So I put it on as powers up okay, right? But I didn't know if it was a fully working. And I sold it that way, saying, look, please note, it's sold as used, it's sold as powers up okay, screen okay, charges, because I usually check it to make sure that the battery charges up. And the phone, there was a charger, 2 V220s that had been unlocked, one black, one silver, right? And in the box, there was the manual and the bits and pieces in the box. Sends it with Every. They didn't take it to his address. He says, I've been waiting in for that parcel. I've got a write-up as in on the feedback saying about it, as in this person worked with me, as in seller worked with me through no fault of seller's own every delivery. I know, I do it as well, Rob. I send everything that I do on eBay or I sell it on eBay has got a tracking number. It's got a tracking number against it. Because I don't want somebody turning around and saying, by the way, I didn't get my stuff. It's alright if one goes missing now and again. You don't mind it because you're like, okay. And if the person's honest with you, you're like, okay, I'll sort it out with you. So you either give them my money back or you turn around, is there anything? Because it was like that last time where I sent something and I was like, maybe I sent it to, I missed a number or something on the house number itself, to go to a farm or something like that. So the lassie phoned me up, and this woman phoned me up, and I says, what's the problem? She went, I not got my parcel. I says, well, is there anything in it in particular? This is back in 2017. This has gone back. As I only just come back to eBay, as in eventually, because I was like, well, I've been hoarding a load of stuff. Mum wants the room cleared. She wants it cleared out. I've still no cleared it yet. I'm still not even there with it yet. So decides to go back to eBay, and I says, right, I put phones on eBay because I knew what I was doing with phones. I was like, you get between 5 and upwards for a phone. Depends what phone it is. I know some people don't like Royal Mail because they've had problems with Royal Mail. Some people are like, well, they're overpriced, so they'll go with a cheaper company because it's cheaper in courier fees or whatever, or what you're paying. But sometimes where you got to pay the extra. But I've never had a problem with Royal Mail, so I use Royal Mail. As I said, Rob, each to their own. You might have had problems at some point with Royal Mail, so you go, right, I'm not trusting Royal Mail anymore. And then you'll say, well, hold on a minute, Royal Mail's too dear. So some people will go with Royal Mail, some people won't. Some people have not got problems with Royal Mail. They might stick with Royal Mail. I had one every that took ages to arrive, but I think that was because no one was in when they tried to deliver. They say that they can do a delivery in up to, I think it was 3 times. I spoke to a guy, because I talked to the guy, and the guy goes, I don't know that side yet. He goes, I know that you book it in or whatever else. He says, I know the procedure. He says, but I'm logistics. He went, I just pick it up for the shop and then deliver it to the shop. He says, we put it into the boxes, like the post boxes. You know how you go to the collection point? He says, we just put it in the box. He says, but they can do it up to 3 times. They can re-deliver it. I was getting annoyed with Royal Mail putting prices up. Aye. Because every year they go up as in another couple of pound. Or sometimes it's only 30 or 40 pence, and then there's other times where it's like a pound odd. So you got to start houting the price up. Because I had many times that I've had to do it on eBay, jack the price up, and then I was like, oh, how far do you go? How far do you go with this? As in, maybe before somebody turns around and says, I'm not paying that. This is what happened with the customer. But we had I asked the woman at the counter. She says to me, what to do is send it by every. But she says, if you add the other 60 pence on to what you're paying, you can then get a photograph. So we had photographic evidence. And the person who was delivering it had pictured it on the passenger seat, and they turned around and tried to make out, they were trying to make out that it was lost in their system. But we'd proof that we'd seen it, that we'd seen the box and everything else, because I knew the package it was in. I knew exactly what it looked like and everything else, and I was like at him. And I sent it to the customer and I says, by the way, there's a photograph. And he went and checked it as well. He says, well, the only thing you can do, I says, go to the collection depot. I said, actually go and visit the collection depot. Go to the collection depot, average, wherever it turns up. If there's a depot near you, go to that depot. And the third time, because he'd turned around and we'd done the, you know how you go in the system, you'd arrange delivery. Oh, he said that what he'd been doing is he'd been watching his camera. He'd been watching his camera for them to come and deliver it. He says he never came to my door. And that's what he was arguing. The argument was over, was because he hadn't chapped the door, he hadn't rung a bell. He says, I've got a ring doorbell. He says, I can see. He says, but I've got a camera that overlooks, he says, my next door neighbour, or across the road, across the street. He says, he's got a camera as well, a CCTV camera. He says, I'm pally with the neighbour across the street. He says, I see the van pull up. He says, and then it fucked off. He says, it didn't stop. The customer was quite happy with me, because I was like, look, I sent you, and I was like, I sent it. I told him who I sent it with. I told him the day it was sent, as and you could see the tracking thing, mate. And I worked with the customer. I worked with my customers, always did, because I don't. It's not a raw, but it's not a part of the money factor. It's I I look for my customer services. My customer services means more to me than what it does is the money that they've spent with me as in as a customer. It doesn't matter if it's a £5, it doesn't matter whether it's £10 or £15 or £30 or £100 they spend with me. They get treated the way that I would treat anybody else, as if I'd bought it off of them. I don't agree with somebody turning around and saying, because I hate people that turn around and say, I didn't get my package and they did. And they tell me they know that they've got it and they're just trying to transfer on to see what you'll do. Because there is ones that do that on eBay's system. They'll turn around, I never got my package. And I swear blind, I never got my package. And you're like, well, I can see it in the system and it says on the system delivered. I can swear to you, I never got my package. It must have went missing. It was lost in the system. Because this is what I'm saying. It's out of your control when you get over to Royal Mail or whoever the courier is. And you've got to be able to trust them getting it there to that customer. But there is an odd time where a package will go missing, or somebody that's working there temporary will lift it because they know how to get into a package, or they've opened it partly up and had a look inside it. I swear blind you can actually get a camera or something that you can make a hole in a package and then put a camera inside it to see what's in it. Because we were told when we worked in Blue Arrow, and Blue Arrow was like that to us, if we catch anybody stealing for here, we'll phone the police and you'll not be working here again. Even though that we were temporary staff. I've never done it in a company and never will do it in a company, because I feel that my old man used to say, he says, son, he says, you've got doors that you need to open, and if you can open them and leave them opened and go back to them, at least you do something. Because my dad used to jump from place to place, maybe spend 6 months with a company or 6 months with a person self-employed, and then jump to another person. But he'd always leave the door open behind him. He'd always make sure that he done his due diligence. Because he's like, I don't want people going about as in tarnishing my reputation, because he was good at his job. But my dad just couldn't stick in a place. And sometimes I did that with, like, maybe I'll be doing coins and then I'll jump to something else, then I'll move to something else. But I always come back to what I enjoy. And I like, the reason why I started with the coin community is because people, the way I felt comfortable with them, I felt as if I was part of the community. And that's why I enjoyed it. And I still do enjoy it. I love going to Durban's. I love going to Durban's auction. But I spend an absolute fortune. Well, I wouldn't say a fortune. I do it in bits and pieces. I do it when I've got the money, or the money's there. I was having to charge over £5 to send one recorded. That was only sold for £1. I know, you're like that, and you're like, I do pairs of phones. I do it as a pair. But I might have spent more doing it that way, or I bought it and paid more for that phone. But then when eBay turns around and says, by the way, you can only, it was last sold for, because it'll tell you like it started at 199 and the last one it sold on the last 7 days for £11 odd. So how can you put the price more than £11 for that item, or if you've done a pair? So they're looking at it as one item, but instead you're doing two items, but listing it under the one item. Because I got a good feedback rating. I've only had one negative, but that was for two iPhone 5, iPhone 5C, and he's like, oh, these have been stolen, as in they've been reported stolen, as in that's why they've got the iCloud lock on them. No, I didn't realise that the iCloud is on them because the person who had them previous didn't remove the account properly, which means then that his details were still on the iClouds. But they could have been in the system as stolen. I don't know because I don't do the IMEI service, but they were bought originally off of eBay. So how could they have been stolen if they were on eBay's system to start with, to begin with? Because I don't buy stolen. I get them off of eBay unless I get them at a car boot sale. And at a car boot sale, I'm not going to stand there and ask other dealers, as in, by the way, is that stolen? Because they turn around and say, was that you accusing me? Are you accusing me that I stole it? And then they turn around, I bought it legitimately for an auction. Because I've got dealer pals or dealer friends in the system who either go to bigger auctions and buy it in bulk, or they get it out the trash, as in the tip, or they work in the tip and they've managed to get it out before it get crushed, or they bought it from a supplier who was going to crush it. David, I think you've got two packages, buddy. You've got a big one. Because that's what I said to Daryl. I was like, why? I was like, I'm not going to say to you that I'm going to send it to David. I was like, you need to speak to David. I was like, speak to either David or Paul. I was like, I asked them first their permission, or email David or Paul and say, is it all right for Alec to send my package to them? But I says, why don't you speak to them? I says, and then we'll work it out for there, because that's why I wanted to bring the subject up, because I was like, well, I want to explain what Daryl had emailed saying, because he's like, I can't afford the shipping. He's like, I'll just have to forfeit my wins. I was like, no, you won't. I was like, we'll find a solution. Let's just, as in, not think of that at the moment, unless it comes to that. I was like, I would rather send you it. But that was the whole idea of the shipping pot fund. It wasn't a case of, as in, for everybody to turn around and say, well, here's a fortune on it, there's $100 or $40. It was a case of whatever you could afford was put into that pot, so that if there was one person that turned around and said, by the way, I can't afford this, and everybody's like, well, I don't want to send it to me, and I wasn't depending on anybody to turn around and say, oh, I'll sort it out for you, send it to me, because I feel it's on your shoulders or on that person's shoulders, which it shouldn't be put on that person's shoulders. I don't mind that, as in blistering, you putting that Discord in just to space it out, but I don't want it as in be coming up as spam, or them thinking it's spam. Sort of put it 20 minutes or an hour or half an hour, just keep sort of put it in, just slip it in there. Do you get me? Slip it in there every so often, so that other people can go to that. Because Blistering's been telling me about it. the Stacker Social. So why don't you come to the Stacker Social? It's not that I don't want to go. I'm like, I don't know who's there, and I'm like, there, because it was Big O Fam that I had a problem with, and I was like, I'm deleting my Discord. I didn't actually remove the account. Every time that I go to Discord and I put that in the system, it recognises me. So I was like, because Big O Fam, it was Big O Fam, and there was a dispute between me and him, and then he made out that it was me that was causing the problems, and it ended up that Gemma get told about this, or Gemma. I don't want to bring people into as in the bits of drama that I've went through or I've experienced. The only time I'm telling you about the experience, I think you paid for yours, David. I don't know how much you put in. If you put money in, you should be able to go into your PayPal system and it should tell you how much you've actually sent to me. If you take that as in and say, right, it's going to cost me, because I was like, well, it's 30, I think it was like £25 over here is about 30, I think it's like $34, but you get a big bag for $34, buddy. As in you've got like a wallet, you've got quite a lot in a pouch. Because that's why I had done the big pouches like that. Because there's one, yours there, and I think there might be another one as well. That's actually full. That's actually full. Because that's your wins. That's what I'm saying. When it's marked with your name on it, it doesn't go back into. That does not go back into stock. That's got your name on it. That is yours. That belongs to you. I'm just holding it, as in looking after it for you at the moment. That's what I'm trying to, because I've got a full load to do, full load to get out, and then I've got other stuff, because I want to be able to get space. I want to make the room so we can play the game again. But that was the whole idea of the game, to keep it rolling. Because I know this camera, it's not picking it up very well, that I need to put my other Chromebook on. Start using my other Chromebook, or I'll get another Chromebook. I think that's 2 or 3 year old, that thing, and I've not even used it. Still brand new, still in the box. Because I didn't know that the auto updates, it's an automatic update expiration. I didn't know they only done them for 5 years on Chrome. Because Windows do not have an auto expiration. They actually tell you, well, you can't use this system anymore. As in, we've done a system out. They do a system like outside. It's Microsoft something, as in where they put it like and then it tells you the last date that's going to finish in, that they're going to stop it. Because Windows 7 took a long time to expire until they says, right, this is the finish date, this is the last. As in Windows 7, you can still use Windows 7, but you can't use their server or something like that. I was like, when I first found out, I was like, fuck. I was like, you're telling me my auto updates are not doing it anymore, so I can't auto update my system. So you're saying my security updates are non-existent for that laptop or that model now? I was like, I was like, that's 5 years. Because it tells you your system needs upgraded. Your system needs upgraded. It no longer can take updates or whatever. I always buy just a cheap machine. I buy a thing like that. As long as it's less than £200 or something like that, I end up with a brand new machine. But it takes me ages to get used to it. It's like Windows 11. It's took me God knows how to get used to it. And I'm like that. The other week there, a woman wanted a label. She wanted a label printed. Now she's in East Kilbride, in my area, and I put a comment to it, and then a guy came and says, by the way, he says, I seen your comment on timeline. if you sent me 15, that's what, hold on a minute. 15 is, because the reason how I have to do a package is because you've sent it with goods and services, so you can actually reverse it and get your refund, because they take the 3% off me, but I'm not worried about that. I'm just, David, hold on, give me 2 minutes, buddy. I want to see that what it is, and it'll tell me in dollars how much is £15. Um, 15 GBP is, your £15 is $19.68, and it's actually, if it's 20, it's round about 25. It could be slightly more. 25 GBP is it's $32. It's $32.80 at the moment. It's $32. There's the equal $32.88. But the whole idea was to send, as in for everybody to chip in a bit, like $2 each or whatever it was, and say there's 60s. That was the whole idea. So that basically, if somebody turns around and says, by the way, I don't have enough funds to put into the thing, mate, I'd like to donate, but I just can't. That was the whole idea, was to basically say to somebody, well, by the way, all the rest of the supporters are paid for your shipping. It's up to them, as in to feel. I don't like to make people feel guilty, but you do get people that go, by the way, I feel rotten. I feel rotten inside. I feel that I should have donated something to that. And then they go, by the way, and then all of a sudden you get a notification, because I got a notification when you put money in. If you put money into my PayPal ME, I got a notification saying, by the way, such and such has put money in. It tells me your name and address, but I don't put that name and address out there. I'm like, but I need people to actually put on, as in a note on it, and say, this is from David Carlisle channel. So I know your YouTube channel is that. It's like Irish's one, and it come up and it says Ireland, and I was like, who the hell is the Ireland? I was like, is that Irish Collector? And I'm like, I don't know. But see if you'd have put a note and said YouTube channel Irish Collector, I don't know, straight away I'd have been like, that's Irish Collector, straight away. I don't care what PayPal says. I would rather you put a note, as in if it lets you have a note box, put a note underneath it, what it's for, so I can keep record of it. Because I keep record of everything against what comes in my PayPal. It's even the same as when I do the Durbans. See, when I pay the Durbans invoice, I actually delete the other invoice that says, you owe us such and such. So I know that I paid that invoice. It'll say paid invoice 10780. I know that that's been taken off my bank, or the bank has got that in pending. So I know there's £100 off that account. But I just couldn't afford buying the coins and also doing shipping. But then I was like, well, hold on a minute. I don't feel it's right to ask the supporters. And I'm like, I don't. And I was like, hold on a minute. I was like, what if I go back to eBay? But I can't concentrate on eBay and concentrate on the channel at the same time. Out there, either one or the other. That's how I've been away. Because I've been busy, guys. I've been busy while I've not been live, or I've went live and did I go back live? And then people's turning, and then I'm getting people turning and say, by the way, you started this and you've done this, and nobody wants to come to your channel anymore. Hold on a minute. What? So who's going round telling all these tales? And who's heard it? And who's said to who? Hold on a minute here. And I went to that person or somebody's company and says, by the way, and somebody stood out and went, oh, by the way, I know about this. And then they're like, but then they want all the information. I'm like, what you all this? Why are you involving yourself? It's not between you and I, it's between me and this other person. Why do you know about it? Because she's told that person blah 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 his side of the story. Hold on a minute here. No, this is not the way it happened. She contacted me because I said that my dad's surname was McLeod. That's fine, man. And she wanted to know if I was related. But while we are talking, she's telling me about how he is to her, and she's unhappy. So I'm thinking there's more involved in it, as in that she's physically attracted to me, and I've got my wires crossed. But then he's then telling people that I'm stalking women. So then I'm having people tell, as in say, oh, by the way, this is going round the full community. Hold on a minute here. Well, why am I only just hearing about it now? Why has it took so long for you to come and tell me? But this is not the person that's involved. This is another person it's siding with that person because she's told him or he's heard it because he's saying in the chat, oh, he stalks women. So basically, oh, you've not to be friends with him because i.e. this, that or the other. But you're only hearing one side of the story of what happened. I don't cover anything up, but I keep evidence to basically prove my point or prove that I'm not in the wrong. And if I am in the wrong, I'll apologise and say, I'm in the wrong. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that happened, or I'm sorry that you feel that way, that I've offended you, because it wasn't meant to be offensive. This channel is about my experience in the coin community, also my experience in life and the things that I've come up against, as in for me to talk about it. And me as a journey in YouTube, because I'd never done so. In 2017, I didn't use social media presence for my eBay, for doing phones or whatever else. My ideal was to come to YouTube because I found out about YouTube, seen other channels who were doing other things like Classic Truck Rescue, watching that channel and thinking, I love watching that guy fixing GMCs or whatever, taking them away, as in restoring them, blah, 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 then selling them, as in obviously to grow his channel. But as he's growing the channel, he's getting more and more supporters. So I'm like, well, hold on a minute here. Maybe this will work for my eBay, this social presence. So I wanted to do it on the phones. But while I've been talking about it, there's a negative side of the equipment that we use. Some software is better for some models and some models it's not. But there's all different boxes that we use in the mobile phone side. So I wanted to do a product review on them, and I was like, hold on a minute here, I'm going to get negative comments. And I was like, well, I don't want the negative comments. I'm like, don't really negative side yet. No, I don't. So I was like, no, okay, let's forget about that. Let's find something that everybody's interested in that's not going to create a negative drama on the channel about either the equipment that is getting used or the bits and pieces that we use or the raw materials. So that's why I ended up started doing coins. But behind the scenes, I was still messing about with the phones and buying phones up. As in because the price that I was paying, that's what I'm trying to explain to you guys, that the price that I was paying for the rolls, or the rolls where I go radio rental on, as when Durban puts a roll up and I go, well, I'm bidding $3 on, was the price that I was paying for phones. So it was like, well, $3, it's not a lot of money at the end of the day. So it's like $3 for or £3 for a phone. I can pay £3 for a phone, but sometimes it's untested, so it means then it might work, it might not. Then it may have a battery that's missing, so I have to buy a battery for it, or a replacement battery, or a good battery that will work for that phone to test it, because you can put another battery on a phone, but if it's too big, it won't fit, and then it won't connect to the connectors. But if you can connect it to the connectors, but you cannot put power to a phone by just connecting it to the plus and the minus side. You have to have a battery, because you're forcing power into it, which could blow the circuitry. But if you're only using a 5-volt charger, it won't bust it. But it doesn't mean to say that it'll power it up by not having a battery in it, because it means then it's not got a connection as in to the PCB board in it, because it does a loop when you've got a battery in it, because you've got the BSI side there, which the BSI side there is for the battery to come on standby. It's basically like a TV turning it, and it's you've pressed off, but it's not off, it's on standby. So the BSI is a battery selector indicator, which means then that's usually the middle terminal, but there's a positive and a negative side, and it's got to have a full circuit, as in you go round like that, so it goes round the loop. So you need a battery to connect the two terminals, so it does a full loop through the system, through the PCB, to put power in, or to hold a charge, or to power the board up. So sometimes I've used the battery which is the wrong battery, but it means then I can check it to see if it powers up. So it saves the £3 or £4 to buy a battery for it. Because if it powers up and you put it on eBay, there's more chance of selling it because it powers up. If somebody sees something powering up, they say, well, at least the board is powering up, but it doesn't mean to say that it's fully working, because it could have a fault. There could be a component that's not 100% in the phone, even although it does a full loop. But if somebody sees that, they go, well, at least I can take the screen out of it, I can take this, but take a component out of it, I might be able to salvage the EMC chip at them. Because a lot of the boys use the eMMC chips, because what they do is they copy the firmware off of the old chip or another chip. Because there is devices that actually read, the boxes will read and write. They actually read and write. You can change IMEI numbers, but you need to record the IMEI you changed it to, because as in by law, it's defraud, or it's classed as defraud, because it's illegal to do it. So basically you're using a different information into a phone, and every phone has got a sticker on it saying what its original IMEI number is. I mean, you're flush, because that's what you do when you've got these boxes. They actually flush it. You read the information off it and it's like a dump file, and you temporarily save the dump file because it's got its original stock ROM on it. But when you flash it, you can change the software. You can either corrupt the software, or you can put software at it's not 100%. But sometimes what will happen is, if you put the wrong firmware inside the phone, it'll no speak. It'll run, and it'll say this, or this. It tells you on the screen. The Samsungs are the worst. They tell you as this is not the right software. Blah blah blah. It says on it this has been flashed. Wrong software, but it'll give you like a download screen. It's like a blue screen that tells you on it. It actually says on it. Because Samsungs are the worst. They've got an MDM lock on them, and they've also got a KG lock on them. The KG lock is not guard lock, and I think the MDM's something to do with finance or something. You've not paid the finance off, they can actually put a block on the phone. I've seen millions of times with Samsungs, as in I'm talking about the newer stuff. I don't deal with the newer stuff. I deal with a lot of the older stuff, like the S2s, the S3s, the S4s, the S5s, the S7s. But it depends on how much they are. Because sometimes you can buy phones for scrap money, and then there's other times where you got to pay over the odds just to get it. And then you're like, well, if I paid over the odds, will I get my money back? So I pay £30 for that phone. I need to put it at 60 or 40 odd to get something out of it, to make a bit of profit out of it. Because I've spent the time on it, I've unlocked it, put a battery in it, I've spent the time on it to see if it's fully working. But when you sell it fully working on eBay, and you sell it to somebody else and it's not 100% right, that'll come back to you. Come straight back to you like that. So I don't sell them as fully working. I put it on as powers up okay, screen okay, unlocked, battery took a charge, the battery's holding a charge, or the battery, because I can't guarantee a battery. I don't guarantee batteries. Battery life could last 6 months, it could last 3 months, it could last 2 months, it could last a week, it could last 2 weeks. Depending how long that battery's been in it. Because sometimes I don't always replace a battery. Sometimes I'll put a good battery in it. As long as the battery holds the charge, and then I'll usually put, because I started doing it with the charger, because I thought about it, I thought, well, hold on a minute. I'm a customer, I'm no face to you, I'll buy something off of you. I'm not confident in buying it off of you in the first place, and I get that phone. I explained to the guy come up, Raphael, for Bells Hill, and I says to him, you're a new customer. I says, you think about it this way, you're a new customer, you've never bought from me before, you buy an item, I send you the phone turns on while it's in the post, it gets to you, there's no power on the phone, and you've no charger. What's the first thing you're going to do? Message the seller. Say, by the way, that's not working. He's telling you it is working, but you don't know whether to believe him or not. And this is what happens. A seller disagrees with a buyer and says, by the way, that is working, or that does power up. But the customer doesn't believe him because it's a brand new customer. But if you put a charger in that, right? You put a charger in that, right? Which the charger costs you between £3 and £5. The charger. I've seen some, like the old Motorola, like the old Motorola's. I couldn't get a hold of the charger, right? Now I'm getting a hold of the car charger for them. I was paying £9 a time for them. I was like £8 for brand new ones for just putting in a car. The car, the cigarette lighter one and the wire for the back end of it. But then I found out you can on the Amazon you can buy an attachment, but that's £5, and I was like, I'm not putting that in. But it was alright for the Nokias because I could get a hold of the Nokia charger, a genuine Nokia charger. Because I'm like, well, as mum says, you buy a charger for China, right? And say, for instance, that's not got a CE mark on it. That customer's using it and it goes in fire. Who's going to be held liable for their place going in fire? The seller, not the manufacturer. That's why they're doing it at the moment about this EU thing. There's a new law that's going to go in place as the eBay's putting in the system that whoever the origin of that product, it means that they're liable if anything goes wrong. Which is wrong because it was the seller that sold you it, but he didn't buy it from you didn't buy it from them. They bought it for somebody else. So then somebody else is going to be held liable or accountable for that item or that product that was built at the time, for the build quality of that product. I don't understand all these different laws and things, as in I just look into a bit about them. Or I was watching Andrea. It was Andrea and somebody else that's a reseller, and they're a reseller on eBay, but they've actually got a YouTube channel. And I was watching parts of it because it's nice to know what's going on, as in with different systems that's in place. Hi-ho's right. Phones are cheap, brand new. It depends the model, hi-ho, and it depends on the price of them when they first come out. Because like Samsung's it's like an iPhone, and say for instance it's an iPhone 17. It's like $1,000. It's about £1,000 for one of them. Because I remember buying a Motorola back. This is talking about back. It was like an M3788 Motorola. They were charging about £55 or something like that in the UK. It was more than 55. It was 75, and then it came down to 55. Hi ho. Nice to have you in here. No, I just don't like throwing anybody. I didn't want to say it was Daryl who sent the email because I didn't want to throw Daryl under the bus. But I'm not talking bad about Daryl. I'm just saying that's what Daryl had sent me, was an email saying, by the way, how much do I owe you? Like David just said, how much do I owe you? And then when I told him the price, Daryl went, I need to forfeit. I went, no, you won't. I said, we'll find a way. I said, but I need to put it out there because either somebody will say, send me Daryl's package and I'll send it to Daryl. But then I thought, no, why should anybody else be accountable for Daryl's package? It's up to me to do it. And that was the whole thing. And the shipping idea was in case somebody couldn't afford the shipping. So it meant then there was something in the pot so that anybody that didn't have it or couldn't afford that could still get their stuff. Because that's the whole idea, is to put their stuff, is to send them the stuff. Because it belongs to them. It doesn't belong to me once somebody else's name's on it. It's theirs. It belongs to them. It doesn't belong to me unless they turn around and say, by the way, I'd rather donate that. I want you to donate it. I want you to donate it. I don't want to donate it. I don't mind somebody turning and saying, I'd rather donate it to such and such. If they want to donate it, that's up to them. As long as I know who it's to be donated to, I'll send it on their behalf. But I didn't want Daryl feeling that he was being left out, or being sectioned out. That wasn't the whole idea behind it. It was to make everybody feel that they were unequal. Because I felt that it was when somebody turned and says, "Well, I don't ship to the worldwide." I was like, "Well, okay, I can't hold it against you because you don't ship to the UK or you don't ship worldwide." I was like, "But who does?" And that's why I went with the Durbans or whatever. I went with Lemonhead because I went round all the different ones and all the different channels and asked them, "Do you ship worldwide?" And then, "Well, where are you?" I was like, "Well, I'm in Scotland. I've had problems." "Okay, that's fine. I'm not going to no support you because you said no to me, but you've told me a reason of why." There's difference when you can turn around and say the reason why is I don't ship because I've had problems. It's fine. I'm not going to fall out with somebody because they don't ship. It's not their fault. It's just the way it is. But it's nice to be part of a community or feel part that you belong as part of it. And that's what I felt. I felt as if I belonged to part of it or as in part of the USA family, and that's why I kept buying USA coins. But I do buy other stuff. If I see a phone or something that's in good condition, I'll buy it if it's the right money. If it's at the right money, I'll buy it. If I think it's a good buy, I'll buy it. And I don't section anybody out. I wouldn't section anybody out. If David turned around and says, "By the way, I got an auction," I go to the auction at David's channel to see what he's got, to see what I can buy. But I wouldn't want to steal it off him or nick it off him. I want to be able to be fair with people because everybody needs to eat at the end of the day. As in, it's like when Chopper Rules was stuck and his welding equipment broke down, so he couldn't do any work. He couldn't make anything. It's like you getting a man fishing rods or money for a be able to afford equipment to be able to make him work or to let him work so that he can earn an earning out of it. But the only way for to let a man earn is to actually either help him out as in what you can afford to donate to him as in a half decent cause where you know he's not going to keep coming back to someone and say, "Oh, by the way, you're going to hear a sob story all the time. Oh, I'm skint. I've no money. I can't afford. I would rather just beg it." There's other people that don't beg or they wouldn't go down to that level of begging it. They would rather earn as in legitimately. So that was why I started giving back coins, was to feel that I was earning it. I was doing the right thing by everybody and sending them something. So it didn't feel as if I was just asking for money for nothing. Because that's not me. I don't like being a charity case or feeling like a charity case because I'm not a charity case. Okay, I get money off the government, but they're saying that we need to give you money to live. This is what the government allow you, and they're saying, well, we need to give you such and such. This is what's decided by law that you've to get £12 a week or £12 a day or £7 a day. That's supposed to feed you. But then they break it down for as in gas, electric, food, bus fare, clothing. It's all into one. And they say, well, this is what you've got to live on. This is what we will pay you either weekly or fortnightly. And I was like, well, I don't smoke anymore. I don't do this. I don't do that. So I was like, well, okay, then why don't I put it into something that I can actually make money on, or as in make earning by either doing putting out content or down the wheel or whatever, but the thing is, that shipping pot fund, I do not use it. I only use it when I really need to. Like the last time when I didn't have enough to pay the Durbans, but that money went back into coins. That went back into stock for to put more stuff on the wheel. It didn't get used up for something that I just pocketed and says, right, that's mine's. I didn't do that. I had to justify it. I had to justify it, that money. I had to justify it and say, right, would I do? I'm a bit short, but I'll pay it back. I'll pay it back in next week or the following week. But then I was like, okay, that I owe it £80 or whatever. So I was like, well, how am I going to afford to pay this back? And I'm like, well, once I took it out, it was gone, as in PayPal. The money that I can actually show you guys that there's the last time you used to put money in, including Andrew, there's 105 that I've not touched. There's £105 in account, but that's for the shipping pot fund. I was like, right, this time I'm not going to use that money. That's not going for coins. That's not getting used up in a bill. I was like, that's what it's going for. It needs to go for that. This is what it's going for. And there was 4 or 5 packages put out. And Bliston can verify that. A package went to JP, a package went to Andrew, a package went to Bliston. The only one I forgot was Rob Random. And I was like, I never put that out there. I was like, I never called him out. Because that's why I done the call out video or the call out live stream. I called out names that was in the UK for to come forward. I need your name and address. And that's exactly what I did. And Bliston sent his name and address over a message, in Messenger, says that, there's my address. I don't put out people's names and addresses unless they turn and say, I'm allowed to. I'll go to that person and say, by the way, such and such, ask me for your name and address. I don't want to put it out there because it's not me that's allowing it. He's asking for it. I'm asking you, you have permission, is it alright to give them your name and address? Or do you want me to tell him to email you? It's called data protection. There is a data protection law over in the United Kingdom that says when I buy a phone, I've got to clear everything off that phone. You can still use forensic software to bring every bit of information back that phone's held because it's on the BGA chip. Everything is held in a BGA chip. You can bring it back by using forensic software. But I don't use forensic software. I delete it manually. I delete it, everything off that phone, wipe it clean as much as I can possible because I do not want names, addresses, or phone numbers as in time with other people that's connected on that in that phone. Because that is what they call data protection law. Because yous were all getting a ones where yous were doing. No, I've no disrespect to USA because I would be like, hold on a minute, you've just doxed my address. I would have been the same. You've just doxed my address. You've gave my address out online to others, which I didn't tell you I gave you permission to put it out there in the first place. So I understand when you've done the videos or the live streams where people were doxing each other. I was like, that's data protection. I was like, hold on a minute, that's not right. I was like, that's not right, that's data protection law. I was like, that's 1989. I know, hi-ho, you're doing the thing, you're doing it through Redbubble, and it's actually better the way you're doing it. I totally understand. I've got t-shirts that I could do the giveaway or whatever. I bought 2 t-shirts, but that's because I was like, well, what can I do? It wasn't a case of me feeling as in, like, you know how you take pity on somebody and you're like, you feel sorry for them? Or it's not you feel sorry for them, you feel as if they deserve to thank me, to be looked after, or let them earn. So you buy stuff off their merchandise or whatever because you know that they're getting a commission or a small percentage of that. A small percentage. I try to explain it in layman's terms. I'm like, how do I put this? How do I actually put this? Because it's not like as in that Hi-Ho made me as in buy merchandise. I didn't force my arm up my back and turn and say, you have to buy this art. You have to buy my merchandise or the thing, my designs that I've made. And try to explain it in layman's terms because you see somebody, they do something and you like what they do. So you go over there and you go, well, I'm going to give that man a turn or that person a turn. But you know that they're going to earn off it. But they're not earning a big amount of it. They're only earning a small amount. So they've got to turn enough volume to make it worth their while. But they enjoy what they're doing. And that's what Hi-Ho's doing. He enjoys what he does. He enjoys what he does. As in putting it in there. Exactly. Redbubble was a hobby. Sold the dingmy stickers. Of course. And it's nice to see somebody earning Hi-Ho, but at the end of the day, as in it's nice to see somebody grow. For something small, it's like having a small acorn and planting it, and you see it growing, and it starts to grow, but it takes its time to grow. And you see it growing, and you think, oh, I'm doing all right, I'm so I mean, it's like an imaginary pat on your back. Oh, I must be doing something right here. I seem to do as in I'm getting somewhere. And when you notice that progression, you're like, you want to do it even more because you're like the buzz is there, the adrenaline rush is there, because you're like, oh yes, I'm doing something right. Hang me, it's working for me. Oh, I must be doing something well, as in ding me if people are buying it. And it's nice to see that happen. It's like you believing in somebody and you're behind them 100%. But the thing is, some people get jealous as they see you growing further up the ladder, and they get jealous and envious of that person, and they want a portion of it. They want a portion of it. But instead of them doing it on their own, they then cause problems for you or that person to conflict them or confliction on them, so to destroy them because they see them doing well. But they don't realise the time and the effort you've put into it and all that work, and then you think, what's the point? What's the point? But you don't realise that it's one person putting it out there, don't buy off him. And they're going round about 100 different people, don't buy off him. And people's like, well, why have I not to buy off him? But they're telling stories that don't even exist, to destroy you as a bad character reference you because they're envious or jealous of what you've achieved because you see you growing. And that's what I don't like. That's what upsets me when somebody does that. But I get also upset when there's two creators that I support or I like. I like both people and they can't sort the differences out. But then they pull everybody else into it. And it's nothing to do with them, it's between the two people. Instead of saying, well, I've got a difference with you and you've got a difference with me, we'll go our own separate ways. But although that we've got the same support or supporting each other, well, I'm not going to as in section that person out. And that's what she did. She did it deliberately because she didn't want the drama coming, but I wasn't going to cause drama because I wasn't going to say nothing about it because it was nothing to do with me. It was none of my business. I'm just on the Hazy Daisy's panel or whatever because I'm catching up with a guy. But I've never said nothing about her. I never even uttered a word about her. And then she blocked me for the chat. And do you know how I know she blocked me for the chat? Because it wouldn't ding me my messages out. See when I kept, you know how you've got top message, you get top messages and then you get, as in underneath it, you get top chat and then you get the other one. And you can switch it between the two. Well, when I put my chat in there, right, it went into the chat. And then when I changed it, it disappeared. And that's how I knew. That's how I knew. But she forgets one thing. I'm admin and promote your YouTube community. She forgets that. She's forgotten about that I'm admin. I could decline. I could easily remove all her ones that she puts up. Come to my channel. But I wouldn't do that because I'm not that type of person. I'm not that vindictive. But she stopped me as in telling me being able to chat to other people in that chat and her telling me in her live streams like with Gary and all them and J5. That's how I hang me. That's how I haven't been about. And that's why I wanted to speak about it. It wasn't a bash her channel. It was to let people know that that's why you haven't seen me and Jeanette Pickering's channel or in the chat because she's blocked me. She blocked me for being in the chat. She done the exact same thing at Hazy Days when they let him on the panel or in the chat. I fell out with him because of that, blah, blah, blah. I'm against such and such and such and such. He's allowed to speak his own bloody mind. Anybody's allowed to speak their mind and their opinion. It doesn't mean to say that their opinion's right or wrong about whatever they've said. But there's no point in taking it at them and take that against them. Because that's exactly I know who that's exactly what I done. I was like, well, I can't go in there on a Wednesday or a thing when she's live. I was like, I still support her. I still support the channel, but just I can't chat in the thing, I can't chat there. So that's why I've not bothered. Because I'm like, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear what she's saying. But it's nice to as and be chatting with the other people that's in that chat. That's the thing that's annoying me more than anything. It's the people that's in that chat that I know, that they know me. And I bet you they've wondered, well, where's Alec? How come he's not been about? But they know I've got a channel. And it wasn't a case of causing a big drama. I just wanted people to know, well, how come Alec's not been in this chat? And how come he's not been in? Because Jeanette's got a group on Facebook. And I was like, I don't want to hang me because I was like, if she blocked me in the channel, I was like, surely she's blocked me in the group. And that's why Amjad unbefriended me because of the carry on. Because he looks up to her like a mother figure. And I've got nothing against Amjad either. I got on well with Amjad because I used to actually support him on when he done his live streams on Facebook. But that's what I'm saying. People side as in who they're going to side with. And they pick and choose who they're going to side with. I'm not fussed about it. But this is not about, it's about, she's a YouTube creator. This is what annoys me, that YouTube creators can't go on with each other. And this is what rips the community apart, because you have to make a choice of who you're going to support. Because one's saying one thing, one's saying another, but you don't know the full story, the ins and outs. So why do you need to make that choice in the first thing? A real hug's so much better than an emoji hug. I totally get that, hi-ho. But that's what I'm saying, this channel's not about a drama, it's not a drama channel, and it wasn't to come on YouTube to be a drama channel or be a drama mama or be a drama queen. But the thing is, it does get to me sometimes, and I'm like, I need to get it out there. And I was like, well, hold on a minute, I can't speak to that person, but then I could have emailed her, but then I was like, I don't want to email, because I was like, I'm not going to get through. I'm not going to get through, because if she's blocked me there, where else should she block me? Because I knew what that person said was right. And when that had happened, because I got on well with Pixie, because Pixie's got a channel his own, although that's his wife or his other half. And I've got nothing against Pixie. I've got nothing against Pixie either. But it does get to me when two people can't get on, and the two of them are YouTube creators, instead of saying, well, it's between you and I, no other people or no other supporters. So let's not let it go on as in the other supporters. And if other supporters are going on your panel, just don't speak about me. That's fine. And I didn't speak about her at all. Hazy Days asked me a question. I answered it to the best of my knowledge, or the best that I could, without any negative against anybody at the time. But because she's seen me in that panel, she blocked me. Oh, I'm blocking him. Because she was sitting watching it. She was sitting there watching and listening to it. And then when Hazy says, I'm going to come off because they're live, I wonder if she'll let me on the panel. So obviously to put his differences aside. But no. But because I was on his panel, she blocked me from being in her channel or going on her channel. And I'm like, I've got nothing to do with this. But you're causing a scene with other people who support that person and also support you as well. You support your channel. I don't stop anybody that's got a difference against me or somebody else that I know, as long as you just don't bring it in my channel. And bring it into the chat about that person who you've got a difference agreement with. Because it's not about that. It's about growing the community and being a community. Because a community is where it is like a community, like an estate. It's like a housing estate. Yeah, you know the neighbour next door, and that neighbour knows the next door neighbour, and the next door neighbour knows that person's neighbour. That's what a community is all about. It's like going to the pub, and it's like the Greenhouse pub, and it's like they'll put out the karaoke night, but they've got people that actually support them on Facebook or whatever that put a like to that, and they want to actually join it because you go, well, I know certain people in the community go to that do. It's the same as YouTube. People go on it to talk to other people, so feel isolated. But if you're sectioning them out because you've got a difference against somebody else that you've got a grievance against, it's not a grievance against between you've got a grievance against that person, not other people. But you're sectioning other people out because you're blocking them because they're on their panel. Oh, well, they're going to cause a scene in my channel, so I'm not letting them on. take it into another channel. It's like you have to switch off what happens in another channel. Switch off it. It's nothing to do with you. It's none of your business. None of your business. Don't get involved in it. Because the minute you get involved in it, you're involving yourself in it, and then you get yourself entangled in it. What did he do? What did he say? What was this? What was that? To try and understand what went on. It's two people that have had a difference. They can't see eye to eye with each other. It's between them, no other people. Although other people support you. But when you start blocking that person and people don't see them in the chat, they think they're bloody dead. They're like, hold on, I haven't seen such and such. That's what we do in our community. Like, it's like somebody's not seen Johnny. Just for example, nobody's seen. Somebody was asking about Jack Goldman, right? And Peter was like, Jack, is Jack all right? Has anybody heard from Jack? And somebody turned around and says, I think Jack had internet problems. So everybody knows Jack's all right. But if Jack hasn't been seen for weeks or months, people start wondering, is he alive? Is he still alive and kicking? So somebody will email him at the community because he's part of that community. But you've just done it, even although that I'm not in the baking community or I don't bake. I'm still part of that community. But you shut me off. You shut me off, so people's like, hold on a minute, where's Alec? Where's Alec gone? The only way they'll know that I'm still about is either if I comment to somebody's channel and they see Alexander Smith 21 on it. So they know, oh, that's Alexander, that's the boy from Scotland. I don't know why nobody's noticed. And at the end of the day, I'm all over YouTube. I'm here, there, and everywhere. But I don't go around and fall out with people because I don't have time to start falling out with people. Because if I start falling out with people, I lose contacts. I lose valuable contacts. I understand business. I've been put through, as in my father was a businessman all his life, right up until he died. Today he died. And it was him that taught me how business worked and how you make your contacts. And that's exactly why I started messing about on YouTube, is to build other contacts, all the other different parts of the world, so to deal with other people. But it's not just about money. This is not just about money as in with YouTube. I wanted to make a following, but it wasn't to be famous, and it wasn't to be as in have money. It was about having a comfortable life without having to worry about things and stress about things. And I don't stress about as in like the other week there, was it 2 weeks ago? A week and a half ago, they sent me a message, as in me Google sent me a message, your account has been inactive for the last according to them for the last 3 months, and we're closing your AdSense account. I was like, well, at the end of the day, if that's what you feel, okay, as long as you don't as in remove my Google account, I'm not really worried about the AdSense account. I'm not really bothered about making money off of doing videos. I only do the videos for to be part of the community. I only do the live streams to enjoy, speak to you guys, as in like Hi Ho, as in David Carlisle, they all know that I'll send them that stuff. I'll send you that stuff. It's not a problem. As in, that bag is full. There's Ink's there. There's David's there. I think there's another bag somewhere else. It's probably David's because I split it up. The bag, because I was like, well, that bag's only can hold that amount. Well, I can only hold about that amount. I was like, but the envelope's going to be that because they're going to start asking me what's in it. And then I'm going to have to say, mate, that. And then they'll start asking me how much is the value, how much is the value at. I thought I don't want it breaking open as if it's too heavy. So I was like, I don't think David will mind us in having two bags. Because that was the whole idea to come back in the game. But the fact was to make enough room, to make enough space. I've not made enough space yet because I'm still in a mess. That's why I put the title out. I'm still in a mess at the moment, as I'm still working through it. And some days I can be bothered getting up and doing things, and there's other days I can't be bothered. I can't be bothered moving my arse because I'm like, I've got no energy and I can't be bothered, or I can't get my arse into gear. Sometimes I need that kick up the backside to get into things and say, right, I need to do this and that needs done and that needs done. I do a bit here and then I do a bit there, and then I get to space where it's like it's like hi ho having 2 sales last week. So he's on a high. He's on a high for the 2 sales he done last week. So he'll do a bit of work as in for the next couple of days. But then if there's a week passes where he has no sales at all, that gets you down. And you go, well, what's the point of putting stuff on? Because you've nothing shifting. And you thought, well, did I put the right stuff on? Did I not put the right one, the right bits on that I should have put on? And you're thinking, maybe I've made a mistake here. Maybe it was too dear. Maybe I've done that wrong. Maybe I've done... And you start asking yourself all these bloody questions that you can't answer. No, it was when you said about I'm not fussed about online mumming. It wasn't an online mumming. It was a YouTube creator I was talking about. Is another YouTuber who does a live stream, who's seen me on a panel, who they then decided to block me so that I couldn't chat in the live streams, which she does. Which that's what you guys do. Yous make the channel. Yous make the channel. Yous guys make the channel. As Oz said, and Oz said many times before, and that's why I listen to Oz, because he's right. It's yous guys that are the real MVPs. Yous are the ones that make the channel, because we yous coming into the channel to listen to what's getting said or what's going to get said. That's how yous make the channel. And that's why I done the wheel, because yous make the channel. And without your input, there wouldn't be a channel. That's why I done the game, because it was all about being part of the community. I buy stuff off of Durbans to put in my collection, but sometimes I forget because I don't have an inventory. I don't have an inventory that tells me, by the way, Alec, you've got 1968. I see something I like and I think, that's the right money. I've got the money sitting there. I might as well use it. That's what I usually do. But I don't charge somebody and go, well, that's $40 odd you owe me. If I put it on the wheel and you win that, I've got to send you that. Although that I know it's worth $40 or more. but it's me that gave it away in the first place. So it's me that's the it's me that's the stupid. It's me that's the stupid one. But it's you that's liked it, and whether you sell it or whatever, there's nothing to do with me. It's immaterial. I gave you it as you won it fairly squarely, so you can do what the hell you like with it. And I've got no say in it. I've got no say about it. But I'm not going to turn around and say, well, you shouldn't do this and you shouldn't do that. And that's why I don't. It's like when I listened to Cab 7 and he said about as in giving somebody an ultimatum, it's like you giving somebody $30 and saying, by the way, you need to spend it in that. So that's an ultimatum. Friends don't do ultimatums, and neither does acquaintances either. The ultimatums. They don't ask you what was that money for. You turn around and says, I need such and such for that. I need money for that. I've not got money to buy more stock, or as in I've not got money to feed myself, but I need $40 for that. You think it's as in the money that you want to spend for that, and you think, oh, that's a bargain that. So you buy it, don't you? I'm not going to tell you, oh, by the way, you shouldn't have bought that. You shouldn't have bought that. That's your choice. It's the same with phones, and that's why I said I didn't want people bidding for stuff just feel pity on me and say, oh, by the way, Alec needs help here, as in hang me will bid in that. Because I didn't want people, I didn't want, as in, have to, because on my eBay, if somebody buys something and bids for it and they win it, it tells you, they actually send you an invoice saying how much you owe. And then after 3 days, I think it's about 4 days, it cancels the sale out. So then I've got to relist that back on eBay again. So it's all time involved in that. Although the eBay does a lot of it itself. And that's how I was like, well, just don't bid for the sake of it. Unless you're buying it or you're bidding for it because you want it, or as in you're looking for a phone, then that's fine. I'm going to go, guys, anyway. I'll see you later. Bye. Thanks for listening. Thanks. Bye.